Hey guys, hello, this is Peter here from WebAcon. We're a web development company located in central Pennsylvania, United States, and this is going to be another quick tutorial. Actually not a very quick one, but it's a tutorial on how we can integrate Unittrac into a website. So as you can see, this is a storage unit business. They used to have this website here, they still do, but we're building a new one for them. And they have actual display of available spaces that they have on their website. And I mean, this website is really designed, it's a template through Unittrac, something that they wanted to move away from, and they asked us to create a beautiful website for them, and we have done so. You can see it right here. This is our website that we built for them. It has a nice header image. It has locations that they have. We even incorporated this really cool graphic for them. Frequently asked questions. I mean, it's pretty cool. The website is really neat. People can go to different locations, see, well, we don't have images for this one yet, but they can see the actual image of the location, and they can select a unit and create a file and application on their website. So Unittrac allows us to get information from their backend system through API and push it through to any website that we will build. And this specific video will talk about how we can take information from Unittrac and display it on the website. Now, we did spend quite a bit of time coding the scripts that will take the Unittrac information and decode them. There's quite a bit of code here, PHP, that we had to put together in order for this to work. So we're not just going to give it away out for free, because we did spend a lot of time on it. Instead, we're going to be focusing on the actual styling of the element that comes from Unittrac. And I guess this is going to be more of an HTML CSS styling, but it also relates to how we can create a really beautiful display of what is available and what is not available. So I guess let's get started. If you need to move information from Unittrac to your website, we have the script, and we can definitely help you out with integration. Give us a call if you're interested, and you can find our information on our website. There's our phone number, and you can fill in the contact form if you want to. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. So I have already added this initial function, and that will display the Unittrac basic info for this, well, actually for any location. So if we click on Millerstown, Selinsgrove, yeah, so we need to dynamically change to make sure that it follows the actual page. Will work on that. Right now we're working on Selinsgrove because it is hard coded at this time. Get data from Selinsgrove. So right now my most important objective is to make sure that we style this element for it to look really nicely, and it's clear that people can see what is available and what is not available. We haven't had designer work on this element, so we will style as we go. And the styling is actually located right over here in facility.html. That's the file that we have created. So we decided to use Bootstrap list, and we're going to add our own styles onto it, and we're going to basically override the native Bootstrap styles using our styles. You can see that our website is custom developed. It's not really a template, it was built from scratch. Not entirely from scratch, we have developed our own themes. But it has the bare minimum amount of code to make sure that we can fairly quickly and easily build websites for our clients. Alright, so this group is right here. I need to update this. There we go. So first thing that I don't really like is the fact that it's moved off to the right side. And it's moved off to the right side because it has a margin on the left. So we're going to set that to 0. We're going to give it some padding, 20 pixels. Not too big because we're going to have a header at the top as well. And I'm fairly happy with how it looks at this time. I'm going to modify it shortly. Okay, so we have a container. Let's give it some class. Let's give it some row and column. Wonderful. And we're going to give it some heading, H2. Availability. Actually, I'm going to duplicate the name of the location. And I'm going to wrap this into a section. Let's call this WA Unittrac. I think that's how you spell it, whatever. Not critical. The reason why we use WA in there is because we need to make sure that our styles do not conflict with anything else within the WordPress system. That's why we append WA to all of our styles. It's a very good practice to have. And because it's an ID, it's going to have a pound sign. Okay. Excellent. So since we have this ID item, I'm going to make this style more specific. Always good thing to do. And we're going to target H2 here. Copy this, paste, H2. Right, let's get this header styled. how are we going to style it? So I want to make sure that this is visible. And this is something that the client requested, to make sure that people can actually see the availability of the units. So let's make this font size 3em, text align center. Actually, I think text align left might even look better here. And certain margin top will need to be actually not here. $500. I think it calls for a different color, something that is visible, something that is different. Yeah, something like this. And to see how we had space here of 20 pixels, so I'm going to remove this here right now because I don't like the fact that the title is way higher. Let's refresh the screen. Okay, wonderful. So now we need to add some margins. I'm going to add margins all the way to the section. We can use built-in Bootstrap styles. Oh, yeah. Like this. There we go. Okay, so that looks fairly good. Before they make a booking, they can actually see the availability. Now the client did mention that it was very important. So I'm even thinking that maybe we should move the form to the right side and move this thing to the left. That's one option, but if the client is filling out the form, they will definitely see the availability right beside the form. However, if a client is not filling out the form, if a client wants to give a call to this location, they'll definitely look at the phone number and they'll probably scroll somewhere up to here. They might even miss this element over here. So how about if we move the availability element above the images? Let's do that. Okay. I think it's clear now that there is availability, and also client informed me that they don't want to see the available units here, so we can get rid of this. And we can get rid of this. Actually, this whole section over here. Okay, wonderful. I think it's fairly visible, even from the fault line over here, we can see the availability statement. And then if they want to book, they will definitely need to scroll past the availability, and they will see what's available and what's not available, and then they'll request a unit through the form. Or if they want to contact, they'll have a phone number here, but they do have indication that there is availability statement over here. I think that's fairly good in terms of the position of elements, and that's what we're going to stick with. You can see that we're using one template for all of the pages. So if I click on some other page, I still get that same element populated here. Just some pages don't have images yet. Alright, let's get started. In terms of continuing the styling of this thing, and you know what, I'm going to change the data set from Selingsgrove to let's do Millerstown, because it has a lot more elements there. And we can do that simply by passing a variable into our function that we developed. There we go. You can see that it populates. You might think that there is no information passed here, but it does get passed. We just need to work on the styling. Approximate square footage. Okay. Great. What I want to modify right now, I want to make sure that this list looks a lot neater, cleaner, and nicer. And this conflict here is because we have MDB installed into our system. So I'm going to pause the video right now, and I'm going to remove MDB from this installation because we're not using it anyways. Okay, great. So we have removed our MDB installation, and our information started to appear here, and it looks a lot nicer, I think. The only thing that is of a concern for me is the huge white space over here. Really, it looks like a wasted space, if you think about it. And I don't really like that. We're going to need to change it to something else. It shouldn't take up the whole screen. Especially locations where we have images. And pretty much every location will have images. It's just a bunch of wasted space. So I'm going to think about how to change this. Possibly I'm going to move the contact form higher. Where is that contact form? Yeah, there it is. Let's move this thing higher. Right here. Okay. It makes not that much sense right now to position the images at the very bottom, but it also makes sense at the same time. And now I'm thinking that we could potentially have storage availability on the left side, and the map, and the contact form located on the right side. And I think that's going to streamline the design quite a bit. So let's play around with that. The thing is that it is broken down into sections, and each section contains a container. So we'll need to reprogram the whole structure here. We'll need to combine elements together. We have a header, we have a map, and which is enclosed inside of advanced custom field section. Okay, so we can say that this is one section here. We can get rid of the container and the row just for now. Let's shift this to the left. Okay, and let's have a look at what is this div here? Now this div closes the container div, so we don't really need it. As you can see, all of our videos are unedited, and we are actually building real-time, real projects live. And I have no clue how this project will turn out at the very end. I don't have a graphic design for this section here, so we're just working along with it right now. Okay, so nothing should change really, except for the fact that it's outside of a container, which is fine. That's what I expected. And also the form needs to lose the container elements and the row elements, because we're going to create new structure for them. Something like this. I should have backed up this page before messing with it that much. It's a little too late right now to back it up, but let's do anyways. Okay, I'm going to save this, and this is temp internal. I'm going to copy it and paste it here. Let's just keep it as copy. Alright. If I upload it now, we have lost our containers, so everything should stretch to the max. Great. Looks like a total mess right now. That's okay. There's method to this madness. Okay, now let's put some containers in. Div class container. Now we're going to give it some row. Okay, so we have a row into which we can position this section over here. Now this section, I hope that it's okay to have a column, to have a section between a row and the column. So we'll see if that works out. Let's have a look. Okay, looks like it's there. But I would expect it to take up the whole width, and it's not taking up the whole width. let's delete the section, and this section, will it now take up the whole width? It should. Yep. So we cannot have a section here between the row and the column. In that case, we're going to need to change our tactic a little bit, and we're going to need to move this section inside of the column. Like this, and this script also will go inside here. I'm going to adjust the div tag spacing shortly. Should stretch out to the whole width. Yes, it does stretch out to the whole width, and that's what I was expecting. Okay, good. Now that we have this like this, I'm actually going to adjust the spacing right now of the div tags, because it's really important to see how everything is nested within the tags over here. And the next element to this is I can shrink it down to half a page. Actually, even less than that. Let's do column on large screen. Let's do 4 columns, or 4 sections, really. And so it's going to take up 4 out of 12 in terms of the width. If you're not familiar with how the Bootstrap works, I would definitely recommend you to stop this video and learn how to work with Bootstrap. Okay, so the next section here, we need to somehow okay, so there we go. It looks nice. We need to somehow place this form into here. This form has a section ID, which is not good because it is located outside of the columns, and it's wrapped, the whole thing is wrapped within the ACF field. And that's okay. We'll solve this one as well. Div class, column 12, and column large 6. Actually, no, 8. 8 plus 4 should equal 12. 4 plus 8 should equal 12. Okay. And we have this whole thing over here sitting inside. And you know what? This is section ID. We can actually create a row here. So what is really cool about our Bootstrap here is that we can actually create a new row here, div class row, and we can nest a row within the column. Now, since this row has been nested, suddenly the section element will be within the proper structure that we need. Let's have a look if this works. So I would expect this to take up this part of the screen. Yep, it does. So something that I wanted to point out, that we could have done same thing with this section, but both ways are totally fine as long as it works. Now I'm looking at the titles here. You can remember we're doing live website, and this is a live project, so things come up as we build it. Central PA self-storage located at Selinsgrove, PA. Located at Selinsgrove, PA. This has slightly more information. This has the actual address. There's another repetition of the address. I think there's way too much repetition here. So I think we can just eliminate this title over here. And it's going to format it nicer. So title can disappear. Okay, great. We have request a unit, which actually he asked me to change to something else. Lease a unit, I think. Lease application. There we go. So first thing, I don't like the giant heading here, Selinsgrove availability. I know we have built it, but this layout, with this layout I don't really like it. And what else I don't like is the fact that we have a strange space here. It should go all the way to the margins. Let's have a look at what's going on. Okay, the row here is good. Now this section seems to be restricting width 100%. Okay, so there was a width here set somewhere, and I wonder where. I'm not seeing it. But we definitely need to make this modification. CFB needs to go 100% to make sure that it's in line with the right side of the screen over here. You can see that it is totally responsive. Very good mobile capability here. It's really important that we build a website that is mobile friendly nowadays. It's one of the most important elements. So what I'm looking at right now here is, I really like the contact form, the lease application form. I like that we don't have repetition in terms of the locations. The only repetition, or you can say, is the map. Actually, the map will be bigger, and I'm probably going to drop the map after the pictures because it's not as important, or maybe it is, I'm not sure, we'll have to see. But what I want to work on right now is this right here. And I really like how it's turning out, because you have availability, something that our client really insisted on that we have display the availability of the units on the left side, and we have the actual contact form on the right side. All of the most important elements, they are established business, so for them it's more important to filter the clients, not exactly to do the marketing presentations. Even though that their homepage is a really good marketing cover page, very informative, very concise, to the point, very simple to use. They just click on specific location and they're here. That's the websites that I really like to build. The websites that are like a workhorse. They not only do they bring clients, but they help business thrive. They organize clients, they filter clients. I mean, that's the websites that really help businesses grow. And actually websites, they change as the company grows. The bigger the company, the more you need to worry about information presentation, because people already know what your business is. So the type of website changes from a marketing website or a landing page type of a website to more a functional website. So they are already in the functional business type. Really good for them. Okay, so we have this here positioned properly. Let's create a border similar to this. In order for me to create a border over here, I'm going to need to probably step back a bit and potentially we'll need to incorporate the row that we have lost. Actually, maybe not. No. We do have a section wrapper around it. And let's see, we actually have a class for it. Yes, we do. Let's do border, solid, 2 pixels. And we're going to give it the same color as this. And you can see that there is some margin over here, so we're going to give it some margin as well. Margin top, 20 pixels. I'm not sure if... Oh, what happened to the margin? Do I have important somewhere? Oh, there we go. Margin top. MT4 is restricting our customized margins. That's fine, but how come? How come this is sitting at the very top? And this guy... No, I think it's fine. Okay, let's remove this margin top over here. There we go. think it's more like 55 pixels. Yeah. So we're going to give it some border radius. 10 pixels. I think that's what I used. I'm going to give it some padding. 10 pixels. Actually, let's do 20 pixels, so because I want to make sure that the top portion of this header lines up with the top portion of this header. I wish web browsers had guidelines, but they don't. Okay, that looks fairly in line. We might need to adjust this later when we change the header over here. Okay, so the padding is 26 pixels from the top, but we don't need any padding on the right and left side, so we're going to set 0. Actually, no, we do. Let's do 10 pixels left and right, and bottom as well. 10 and pixels, and for the bottom we'll do 0. Sorry, for the bottom we'll do 0, and for the left we'll do 10 pixels. Okay. Now, do we like a form inside it or not? I think in terms of the data here, I think that this looks better without the outline. So we just need to give some padding for the header here, and not the internal table. So we have modified Unittrac this one. Okay, now the padding has to go from here, and the padding will go right over here. I'll have to see how this H2 will behave. Yeah, it did pull it to the left side. That's good. Okay, so what's important right now is to modify this header. I'm going to really reduce that font size to something like 2.5. No, 2.4. And how about if we play around with fonts, with the color, so it's not as bright. Since it's right there at the very top, we don't really need to draw any additional attention to it more than we have to. And let's reduce the font size to font weight, maybe 300. So let's group availability. How about if we change the unit availability? Oops, just lost our changes. $300, and the color will be this one. And let's increase that font size to 2.4. I'm not sure. Maybe it should be orange. Or blue. Yeah, kind of like this one. Let's stick with it. Now I know we're modifying ceilings growth, Millerstone. Here is displayed Millerstone. And looks like these two titles will be redundant, because they will be redundant. So I'm thinking to just delete this one. H5 Strong. Or perhaps even replace it. Going to copy this section right into here. And this section ending will go right into here. Okay. Now this will move right over here. And the facility name will go right into here. And this will be deleted. That should work. Going to remove the duplicate elements here, so we can see that we have started our dynamic integration. So we dynamically pull data, Millerstone storage. It needs to be changed to unit availability. So I'm going to go back into the proprietary scripts over here that we have developed, and I'm going to make that change. So I'm going to be back, because this is part of the scripting that we do not want to share with an open public like this here through YouTube. So we have made our replacements. Let's have a look. Millerstone unit availability. So I just needed to modify a couple of PHP lines within the function for us to display our custom title over here. What else is here? What are these two lines? They shouldn't be here. This group item. This group item. So I'm going to go back to our HTML here. So it tries to display the address, which we don't need, which is fine. Going to delete this. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Now here we have an empty space. So this actually will need to, unit blocks are formed within our proprietary script, and this is something that we have programmed into it, but we definitely need to modify it because we're not supposed to see the white spaces over here. So I'm going to also put this video on pause right now, go back to our scripting that we have done, and I'm going to make this modification right now. So upon closer inspection, when we look at their website, existing, they actually have images here for specific sizes. So it turned out that we did build functionality to add pictures in. So we did create a space for images, and I think images look fairly good, but we haven't actually embedded the code to do images. So right now I'm going through the code that we have already built. It's fairly massive, and I'm changing all of the functions there to be able to dynamically populate images, and there's a set of PHP codes that scan for that specific size, and they drop an image in. What is a little bit more complicated here is that it's not consistent throughout all of the locations here. For example, parking spot 10 by 15. So I'll be searching for 10 by 15 to drop in 3 boxes image, but here I'll have 10 by 15, and I'll need to drop an image of a car over here. It does say parking spot, but in their output file that they feed to us, there's not a single mention of parking spot anywhere. It just comes in as a standard space. So I'll be doing manual override. So there's going to be PHP code that will say if the location is McWaytown and the size is 10 by 15, then replace the boxes with an image of a car, and state that it's a parking spot. So there's going to be quite a bit of modifications to get this thing all straightened out, but we'll get through it. So I'm not going to share everything how we have scripted this, but you can see that the images are populating and that's really great. And as far as McWaytown location goes, we have successfully replaced the image of a box with the car over here. Now what I wanted to show you is a quick snapshot of one of the engine behind data retrieval from Unittrac, and this is just a block that I'm okay sharing with you, which showcases how I scripted the image population, so we can display different images. Basically it looks for a specific size and tells which image to put up, and then we add the image inside the image block right over here to display it. As you can see that McWaytown is an interesting location. We have else if statement over here to display medium size SVG, and then it will go through another loop and determine if the location is McWaytown storage. It's very sensitive. You can see that there is a space here. I guess when they entered it in the back end of the Unittrac, they accidentally pressed space over here, so now my Quaytown storage has an extra space. That's okay, that's fine. So we just need to make sure that we include the space. And if they decide to delete that space, our website will not work. So that's, well, not the website, but we will not be able to retrieve the data. Just for those of you who are scripting this, trying to script it from scratch, good luck first of all, and second, be mindful of the small things. Make sure you're looking over the API data that you receive to make sure that the titles match. Okay, so that is that. That looks pretty good. We're going to do some additional styling here. 75 needs a $, and I'm going to exit out of the live screen sharing here, because I'm going to need to go up and down in this list here and modify the block. So I do include the $. Okay, so the $sign has been included successfully. Let's see, per month. I think that's good. I think it looks good. Anything else? Anything else? Let's do some mobile responsiveness. This is large screen, so I'm going to keep extra large as is. So I'm going to add call extra large to 4, and let's make this large 5, and here call XL to 8, and this will jump from this was 5, yes, no, it was 4, or was that 3? Okay, anyways, 4 plus 8 will be 12, and this needs to increase to 5, and this will go to 7. Why am I doing that? Because as you can see that information is squished, it's going to the second line here. I don't like that. The form can still squish a bit more. Let's refresh this. Okay, as you can see, the form has squished on this screen size, and we still have ample space over here, which is good. That's what I want. Really good. Now I really don't like this error over here. Let's just quickly fix that error. I'm going to go to Google reCAPTCHA, and we're going to create a private key for it. Time to close my window here again. So for this website we're using Formidable for the forms, and we're going to go to Global Settings. Global Settings has a reCAPTCHA section here. Again, going to close down this screen sharing, enter the keys, and we'll be back online. Okay, so we're back, and we do have now reCAPTCHA working properly. No errors. Let's go and inspect this thing again. Reduce the screen size. Looks good. Looks fairly good, I think. Shows us availability, and then it shows us the contact form. I like it. And all the way down to the smallest size. I mean, we do have some lines jumping, but that is extremely small size. I haven't seen really that small of a cell phone. Really, we're working to aiming towards 375 right now in terms of the minimum mobile screen size. And even if there is one cell phone that does have this size, it still looks good, still readable, and everything is looks like we'll need to modify this section here, which brings me to the point that the footer needs some extensive work for mobile devices. I wonder at what screen size the footer loses its last, yeah, this size. Yeah, so I'll be working on the footer soon. Okay, so I think this is pretty good. The only problem right now is that if we go to different locations, we get it doesn't dynamically change the data. So we'll need to do that next. I'm going to go back to our home page and look at the location, the place that we're feeding the data. We're getting the data right here. That's where we're entering the variable, and the variable might not. That's where we're entering the name of the location. It might not exactly match the header of the website. That is fine. So we're going to do some some minor customizations right now. So before we feed this information into here, we're going to need to retrieve what page are we on. So in order to do that, we're going to obtain the title of the page. You can see that we already have it right over here, page title. We have done that already, and I'm going to just quickly echo it out so we can see what exactly the page title of this page is. Where is it? Ah, sorry, that's a different one. That's not the same as page title. Page title we can get from page section, and then we're going to go to content page, and here we're going to get the title. I think that's what it is, but it's going to wrap it around the h1 tag. So you know what, I'm going to need to pull up, I'm definitely going to give us page title, but I need it stored inside the variable. I need to look up what WordPress uses for that. I'll be back in a second. Yeah, it was fairly straightforward. WordPress get page title, and actually it's called get the title. So we're going to put this into a string. But before we do that, let's see what the title is. Ceilings growth. Now, ceilings growth, based on their titles here, ceilings growth storage, that's what they want to see, I think. I'm not going to go through the data set that API is sending us back. I'm just going to assume that that's correct. Okay, so I'm going to do this. Going to location equals to page title, and then I'm going to add to it space storage. Hopefully it's going to be capital letters. Yeah. There we go. So you can see that McQuaytown does have a space at the end, so we'll need to be watchful about that. But let's replace this now with the location variable. Location, okay. So in theory, I'm still going to keep the echo here so I can see what I'm feeding it. Ceiling growth storage. We can see that ceilings growth unit availability is populating here. And if we're going to go back to the Unittrac, where the heck is it? Yeah, there we go. Ceilings growth, we have only one unit, 10 by 15. At $75, so that's correct. Okay, let's now do a quick comparison between the different locations. We'll start with Millerstown. Now Millerstown is not showing us anything because Millerstown has 1 after it. So I'm going to need to go back to their because they have 2 Millerstown locations now. I'm going to need to go back to see if the API key is populating the second Millerstown location or not. I'm going to put it on pause because I'll need to bring out the API feed. Okay, so looks like Millerstown, they have only 1 Millerstown at this time. So definitely when they're going to add a new Millerstown, potentially it will have a new name, like Millerstown 2 or something. That name, we don't know what name it will be. So we'll need to modify it once we get that name from them. Right now it's just Millerstown. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the location. Actually, we're going to do if statement, if $location equals to Millerstown. I think it's Millerstown 1. Has to be exact. So if that's the name, then I'm going to do some modifications. Location equals to just Millerstown. Okay, so the location here is actually plus storage. I'm going to do this later, after the if statements. And I'm going to put this here, location equals just the title. So this will go, this will work. And then we're going to change this to final location, and we'll change this thing to just location. Okay. No. Theoretically, it should work. It does not work. It states Millerstown storage. Doesn't have spaces there anywhere. But why does it not bring up the information? I'm going to go pause, and we'll go through the data that I get from the API key. I'm going to paste data that I get from API key right here at the very end. So the data that I've received matches exactly. So there has to be something else that's going on. Something else that is going on. So I'll look into it. Yeah, that's just the problem here. You probably might have noticed it. Did you notice this? Let me know in the comments if you have seen this mistake. Okay, now it should work. Yeah, there we go. Now this is else statement. That means that something went off, something went wrong with it. It didn't meet any of my criteria, and it should have met. So I'll need to see what is causing the if statement not to trigger here. I'll be back in a second. Okay, so we got that sorted out. What I'm seeing here, so that's the code that I've put together. What I'm seeing here is that some of them are not triggering. They're giving me an else statement, and the reason why they're giving me an else statement because the order is reversed. You can see that all of this stuff here has tens in the beginning and the bigger number at the end. And so there's a layer of additional scripting here. That would be way too much for this scope for this project. So we can definitely incorporate this additional layer, but I'm not going to. It's going to be way over budget then. What I'm going to be doing is putting a quick patch here. So if it's 10 by 20, or if it's 20 by 10, then we'll do this image output. So I'm going to actually go and quickly modify all of the statements here to include them, include both scenarios. I'll be right back. Okay, so I've added a bunch more OR statements here. If it's 6 by 9, it's going to be 9 by 6, and so on and so forth. So now if we click refresh, we're going to have a specific order here, and all of the boxes are showing up. So Millerstown unit is showing up, and so should Millerstown location 2 if we're going to actually Millerstown location 2 doesn't have any storage spaces yet because they're still working on it. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Let's look at other locations. Ceilings Grove. Ceilings Grove storage has only one location, and that's correct. I think that's correct. Ceilings Grove storage, yes, 10 by 15. Okay, let's look at our McQuay town. It's not going to show us anything, and we have expected that because we'll need to add else if. Okay, so else if our McQuay tone then we need to modify to McQuay tone. And we need to add to it space. That's one way of doing it. Okay, storage. Then I'm going to append space to it if there is a space, and it's really important to clear the variable space. Space equals to nothing. Okay, so now we should display McQuay town location. Odd one in the bunch. Okay, McQuay town storage. Still not showing us our space. It should show a space. Will it show us a space with an apple? Yes, it does show us space with an apple, but doesn't want to show us just space. Okay, there's more than one way to skin a cat. Let's do a quick test here. Storage. I see. I see what the problem was. Location is actually McQuay town. But we do need to add a space. And really, we don't even need this, because the location is correct. We just need to add a space. There we go. Storage. Okay, great. Let's move on to the next one. Looks good. Let's look at Milroy. Milroy does not show us anything. Again, I'm going to need to see how it's presented within the API key. We'll be right back. Let's copy Milroy storage. That's what we are feeding into our function, and I'm going to see what it's looking for. Okay, just not going to show you the whole screen because it does have security elements within it that cannot be shown, but this has no security elements within it. Look at this. Milroy doesn't have a storage attached to it. So the names are really all over the place. And now we should probably be using the facility ID to screen for this information. But honestly, facility ID can be anything. They want to add a new facility, their facility ID will be different for a new location. So really titles are pretty much as good as the ID numbers at this time. Simply because they're probably not going to be modifying how they titled it inside their administration panel. And it's a little easier for me to work with the actual names. So we'll need to write another if-else statement. So if location is, what was that, Milroy? Yeah, Milroy. If location equals to Milroy, without the space. We don't need the space, but we don't need to append the storage. And this is just becoming a bit ridiculous. Okay. Looks like I'll have to set storage as a variable. Let's do that. Storage equals to storage, and if location equals to Milroy, actually storage with a space here. Space is important, and I'm going to delete this thing here from. I'm going to echo out storage, and if location equals to Milroy, storage equals to nothing. That's one insane function. Sorry, not a function, but if-else statements. Okay, let's have a look. Milroy, yes, it's populating it. What do we have in Milroy? In Milroy we actually have, yes, we have the RV thing. Let's go back now and make sure that everything else is working. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we lost 1. 10 by 30, 6 by 9, 10 by 10. What are we losing here? Okay, 6 by 9 we have, 10 by 10 we have, 10 by 15. Yes, it's here. Another 10 by 15. Now, why do they have two 10 by 15? Identical picture shows 14 available and 7 available. It's pretty much exactly the same price. And you can see that in our case, 10 by 15, it has combined the values. So it shows us not 14 and 7, shows us the total number 21. So 14 plus 7, which makes sense. I have no idea why they have two of them here separated. Okay, whatever. It passed my test. Let's go to like way down. Looks good. Let's compare that. Okay, looks good. Ceilings growth. Ceilings growth has only one. 10 by 15, yes. Millerstown 2 doesn't have anything yet. And this one, Millerstown 1, has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Looks pretty good. One more thing that we might need to work on is the sorting order, potentially. If the client requests it, because at this time this project is already way over budget. This development took us much longer than we expected. And quite frankly, I was thinking that I'll be making a video that would be maximum 20 minutes long, just to style the elements here. But it turned into another small development project to make sure that we can output everything dynamically in all different pages. Okay, so the last bit here, we're going to get the title. We're going to remove the echo option here. So everything will look normal. Okay, wonderful. I think that would be pretty much it. The map, yeah, the map. the map could go full width. So that's just one small bit of that I'd like to modify. I'm going to take this map out of the row element and going to actually give it another row. Div class row. Okay, I'm going to put map here. Now it should take up the full screen. No, it doesn't. How come? How come? Now this row is located inside the... Okay. This row is located inside... We need to bring it way out. Yeah. We need to bring it way out. But my concern is that it's going to be outside of the loop over here, and I cannot afford that to be outside of the loop because it's not going to work. You know what? We're going to do this here. We're going to take this, cut it from here, and we're going to paste it right over here. Now, definitely it's not going to work because it's outside of the CFB module within Advanced Custom Fields. But that's okay. We're going to add it here just for it. Again, you can do that. It's not illegal and it will work. It should work. Okay, so we have the row, we have this element here, we have the CPB, but the styles are not applied to it. The styles are not applied to it because we are missing the section element here, I think. Where is it? Section ID, yeah, here. And we might need to actually include the class as well, we'll see. So the section element was... We can add it here. Section. Because our styles are nested inside the ID. Oh, there we go. Now it's working. How I am expecting it to work. Okay, that's pretty good. Selling group self-storage. I'm going to take this title over here. Boy, this whole thing will be just completely changed when it comes to layout. Completely changed. Because now I'm thinking that the map probably go under the pictures. That would look nicer. This one has quite a bit of different units, so it looks a little bit more balanced. Doesn't have images though. Yeah, we definitely need a title here. We definitely do need the title here. What if we do try to shift it back again? What if we change the images? I'm going to put images right back where they used to be. Right over here. So we have self-storage, we have images, we have quick description, we have lease application, availability, and we have a map. Actually, I kind of like the old flow now. Now that I'm looking at it, it makes sense. People are looking at the storage units, they're looking at the images, and they have availability section here and lease application. Really depends on the client's point of view. So I'll probably be asking my client what he thinks about it, or I'll just share this video with him. Okay, so one more small thing that we want to add here is the availability section. It's really not a section, it's a statement. Why do we want to do that? I will show you in a second. I'm going to add a style here. So really, when we build in a website, we are web developers, definitely, but have to know how business functions and how business sells products. And this is one of those examples. You can see that it states here, if the size you're looking for is not currently available, check back often. Most leases end near the end of the month. So this is really important because people look at the fact that it's not available and they get discouraged and they just leave. We need to make sure that people are coming back to the website and they are checking the status to make sure that they can fill up the available spaces as quickly as possible. So we're going to include this section here, and I'm actually going to give it a little bit of a highlight. I'm going to give it a green color. Yeah. Where is my W availability? Should be here. Should be uploaded. I think there's a glitch or something. Okay, let's give it some padding. 20 pixels. Font size, going to reduce it a little bit. 8 like this. And let's give it some color. Let's give it some greenish color. Green can be tricky. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult to see it. If it's too light, if it's too dark, it looks like looks black. So it's always a little bit hard to find the right balance. I think this looks good. So I'm going to upload this style over here. Now let's see if that was a glitch or if that was Yeah, it was a glitch because it appears now here. Okay, so we're good. I think that makes it really nice. We are doing some really complex things. We're retrieving information from what was it? Unittrac, and we are processing the information from their API key, and we are getting all of the data, and we are populating it right into the website here. And as the person clicks different tabs, different pages on the website, it dynamically changes what's available. And we have also incorporated manual overrides on top of the data that wasn't accurate. I mean, in terms of being accurate, it wasn't showing up here. Actually, one thing that I want to potentially change is 10 by 15. We need to specify that it's a parking unit. So I'll probably do that change, and that would be pretty much it. Thank you very much for watching this video. It has been long. 1 hour and 37 minutes. I know you're not getting the thing that you probably came for here. That would be the script that processes the data from Unittrac. However, there's two options. There's two options to obtain the script. First option is you can hire us and we can custom code it for you for your website. The second option, if you're a web development company and you want to save time and money, we have a project. It's called a Web Developers Community. I am the creator of it and the organizer of the community. We have several developers right now, a fairly small group, and we share scripts, we share elements for websites, we share blogs. So we come together and we create elements that we can reuse within other websites. So it took me some time to script this thing. It wasn't easy, and I'm taking $5 a month for a new web development company or a web development individual who would like to join and participate within our community. The minimum terms is 1 year subscription, so you subscribe for 1 year. That would be 5 times 5 times 12, so it's $60 for the first year, and you get access to the blogs over here. You can just copy blogs, copy CSS, and you can have cool looking blogs within your website. Some of these things are fairly complex to implement actually. They are all mobile friendly, and a lot of them are built in with advanced custom fields support. So you get the JSON file which you can use and integrate ACF. So building a website becomes a custom website, which are the most expensive projects you can get. Becomes fairly easy and your clients are really happy. Website load speeds are extremely fast. There are quite a bit of elements here, but there isn't too many elements. So the deal is that if you can submit an element to us and we approve it, then you get 2 months of free subscription to this library. And this code that I have just that we created and is proprietary to us, we are actually going to share it here. So it's going to be probably within resources. I'm going to upload it. It's going to actually have to find a place for it. But if you do subscribe, Let me know if you don't see the code there, and I'm going to share it with you. If you want to become part of our small community of web developers, go to my website, go to contact, fill out this information, let me know why you would like to join our advanced custom ACF boot. That's the library name, why you want to join it. Tell me a little bit about you. I'm going through all of the records, and actually not too many people are accepted because I want to make sure that it is a very close-knit community of web developers. We know each other by names, and we help each other. We communicate constantly, so not everybody is into our club. Let me know, and I'll be happy to see you there. And we're working on making changes, of course, to this small library that we have. Right now it looks fairly ugly. We'll create new menus, we'll create different design for it fairly soon. So by the time that you're probably watching this video, things will probably look a lot different. And membership price will probably change. It's not going to stay $5 a month for too long. Once we open it up to larger audience, it's probably going to be around $50 a month. Okay, thanks. You have a good day.